haven't heard from anybody, but to be honest with you, I shut my phone off after work, so I was just
Molly Qerim has allegedly just been fired from ESPN after her remarks towards Caitlin Clark.
Get my popcorn ready to see Caitlin Clark ride the bench.
No.
The answer is no.
Hold up. But, time.
This was after Molly was live on air saying that Caitlin made a mockery of women's sports. She said that Caitlin downgraded the quality and was only being talked about because of her engagement with fans. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever just lost out by 1 point to the Washington Mystics last night in what was the largest attended game in WNBA history. The Mystics moved tonight's game against Caitlin Clark to the nearby NBA arena and ended up setting a new all-time WNBA attendance record. It's impossible to overstate what Caitlin Clark has done for the WNBA. Simply incredible. Just look at that attendance. Caitlin CLK has become a household name, filling stadiums and captivating audiences across the country. But why are some sports analysts, including ESPN's Molly Qerim, claiming that Clark's incredible skills are downgrading the sport, even when the numbers suggest so? The whys, as Caitlin Clark continues to put up insane stats every game, questions about her impact on women's basketball grow. Has she really brought in fans just for attendance? Or has she also raised the bar for the level of play? And what about the comments from other players, like Angel Ree, who believes she has made the sport bigger in reality? Is it Clark's dedication and sheer talent that's revolutionized the game in recent years? Caitlin Clark has emerged as a revolutionary figure in women's basketball. Her performances on the court have garnered widespread attention, but this attention hasn't always been positive amid her rise to stardom. ESPN analysts, particularly Molly Kim, have been outspoken in their criticism of Clark. What could be seen as a groundbreaking moment for women's sports has instead turned into a heated debate about Clark's influence on the game and her role in shaping its future. While Clark's records and abilities speak for themselves, the media's reaction to her, particularly from figures like Qerim, has sparked conversations about jealousy, sexism, and the double standards that plague female athletes. Molly Kim, one of the most prominent voices on ESPN, made waves when she claimed that Caitlin Clark is making a mockery of the sport. Qerim's words were stinging and unexpected, quickly catching the attention of basketball fans and sports analysts alike. But what did Qerim really mean by this accusation? And is there any truth to it? We all know the answer to that. Of course there isn't.
I saw where you said the WNBA, they're targeting Caitlin Clark. What do you mean by how she's being guarded or, enforced?
I think you and I both know the landscape that we live in today, both sports-wise and non-sports-wise, right? We are in a red-blue. And if you're red, you can't agree with blue.
Cum argued that while Clark has undeniably drawn large crowds and increased viewership for women's basketball, she has not elevated the overall level of play in the sport. According to Qerim, Clark's style of basketball is flashy but lacks substance, a spectacle that appeals to casual fans but doesn't contribute to the quality of the game itself. Essentially, Qerim suggested that Clark is more of an entertainer than an athlete, someone who can bring in numbers but fails to uphold the integrity of the sport. At the heart of Qerim's criticism seems to be the idea that Clark's game is too reliant on three-pointers and highlight reel plays, which some see as a deviation from the fundamentals of basketball. Kim believes that Clark's focus on high-scoring performances comes at the expense of team play, defense, and strategy, essential aspects that she views as essential to the sport. However, it's important to look at Caitlin Clark's actual accomplishments. Far from being a mere spectacle, Clark has consistently put up numbers that prove her to be one of the most well-rounded and dominant players in the history of women's basketball. In her college career at the University of Iowa, Clark has broken records left and right, becoming the youngest player in NCAA history to record multiple triple-doubles in a single season. She's not just a scorer, though. Her scoring ability is remarkable. She's also an incredible power, regularly leading her team in assists. Her basketball IQ is off the charts, allowing her to see plays develop before they happen and make passes that leave both defenders and fans in awe. The claim that Clark's game is merely about entertainment falls apart when you look at the statistics. She doesn't just shoot three-pointers, she creates plays, breaks down defenses, and controls the tempo of the game in ways that are rare for players her age. And it's not just her offensive game that shines. Clark is also a tenacious defender, often guarding the opposing team's best player and leading her team in steals. When Qerim says that Clark hasn't elevated the level of play in women's basketball, she seems to be ignoring the fact that Clark is doing things on the court that have never been done before. If anything, Clark is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the sport, forcing opponents to rethink their strategies and pushing her teammates to new heights. But it's not just disregarding Caitlin. Monica Knut has been doing the same thing too. She said if Chicago finishes above the Indiana Fever, which they didn't, she would give Rookie of the Year to Angel Reese.
Season ended right now for the WNBA. My Rookie of the Year would be Angel Reese. Angel Reese is adding 13.2 points per game, 11.1 rebounds per game. Also, if the season ended right now, Chicago's got to be in the playoffs. She also tied the league record with 9 consecutive double-doubles. So right now, my vote will have to go with.
One of the most remarkable things about Caitlin Clark is her consistency game after game. Clark puts up the kind of numbers that would make any analyst rethink their criticism. She isn't just good in one-off performances. She's consistently great, proving that the talent is not a fluke, but the result of hard work, dedication, and a deep understanding of the game. In the 2021-2022 season, for example, Clark averaged 27 points per game along with 8 assists and 7 rebounds. These are MVP caliber numbers. In any league, let alone in college basketball, where the level of competition is intense, Clark has routinely scored 30, 40, even 50 points in games, carrying her team to victory time and time again when Qerim and others criticize Clark for being more of a show than a serious player. They seem to ignore the fact that Clark's performances are not just for show. They're essential to her team's success. Iowa wouldn't be where it is without Clark, and her ability to put up huge numbers isn't a sign that she's playing for herself. It's a testament to her importance to the team. Clark's records speak for themselves. She was named unanimous first team, All-American, the first player in Big Ten history to record 1,000 points and 200 assists in a single season, and she's broken nearly every scoring record for her age group. Perhaps most importantly, Clark has done all of this while maintaining an incredibly high level of efficiency, shooting over 45% from the field and nearly 40% from three-point range, while Caitlin Clark has remained largely above the fray. Another player has inserted herself into the conversation. Angel Reese, who plays for SUU, has repeatedly claimed that she is the one who has made women's basketball big, and that the media has unfairly focused on Clark while ignoring her own contributions to the sport. In Reese's eyes, she has been cast as the villain, while Clark has been portrayed as the hero.
At the end of the day, it's a game that we do both love, but there is no hate. No hate. We're going to play on the same team one day, I'm sure. Like, we're going to definitely play on the same team one day, so.
Maybe 2028.
Yeah.
But is this narrative accurate, or is Reyes simply trying to keep herself in the spotlight by painting Clark as a rival? Many fans and analysts believe that Reese's attempts to position herself as the villain are little more than a ploy for attention. While Reese is undoubtedly a talented player in her own right, her accomplishments pale in comparison to Clark's. Reese's claim that she is responsible for the sport's growth seems to be more about self-promotion than reality. At the same time, it's worth noting that Caitlin Clark has never engaged in any public feuds with Reese or any other players. Clark has always been respectful in interviews, never calling out other players or seeking to create drama. Yet despite her professionalism, Clark continues to be portrayed in a negative light by some members of the media, while Reyes, who has actively courted controversy, often gets a pass. This dynamic is frustrating for Clark's fans, who feel that she's being unfairly targeted simply because of her success. It's as if the media is determined to find a flaw in her game or her character even when none exists. And while Reese may enjoy playing the villain, it's clear that Caitlin Clark has no interest in engaging in such theatrics. She's focused on one thing and one thing, only winning basketball.